Hey there. Welcome to the New You Life Pulse podcast, where members go to get a pulse on the heartbeat of our incredible community. New You Life is the hormone health company developing transformative products that challenge the way you age. The Pulse features rising stars, leaders in the field, and insights from our leaders at headquarters. Each Pulse podcast is designed to help you become the best version of yourself by keeping you dialed in, inspired, and motivated. Are you ready to be the best you? Now, let's listen to the pulse of New You Life.
Well, hello, New You Life family. We're so excited to be with you today. This is our Ignite Live. We have this once a month where we talk about all the things that distributors can do, best practice, how we can become better at selling. I'm joined by an absolute, let me back up. This is probably the fittest panel I've ever been on, right? These guys are looking spectacular, right? And it's so coincidental that we're talking about Tri-MLT, right? We've got this new product we've been talking about, how it's going to change, basically revolutionize a lot of things within the industry and relative to transformation. And so there's no three better to talk about this than you guys. I'm joined by Jocelyn Larroque. Josh, how are you?
Good, great.
Mr.
Great.
Paul Capozio.
Hi, everybody.
Paul Cap and Theresa Coughlin. A full disclosure, every time I see Theresa, I have to tell her I just worked out. I don't know why. It's one of those things where I just have to say.
I love it. I'm here for it.
That's right.
I'm here for it. Every time you tell me, I'm like, I'm so proud of you.
I just finished that, so I'm good. But I love this particular conversation because we're going to talk about how you sell Tri-MLT, right? We've had so much great information about what's in it and how it works and the difference it makes, but you guys have really particular application relative to how you sell this and what you do. And so I want to talk about that today, and we've got this is a conversation, right? Because that's how you probably sell the most, is just in terms of a conversation. Well, I'll ask you a couple of questions. I just want you to field them back and help all of us understand what the power of Tri-MLT really is and how you would share it. And there's some things that Tri-MLT does that we're not aware of that other products really do very well. You know, Joss, in my conversation with you earlier on, you were talking about kind of the idea that, that when you're going through this process, there's lots of things mentally that you go through, right? Different things you process and sort of supporting yourself mentally and working through that is something that's very, very important.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned that this was a big thing for you, right? You were talking about how this had changed. So real quickly, just share with these guys how you would share that with somebody else. Like, how would you help them understand what it could do for them relative to your experience?
Yeah, so Stony, I'm on social media all the time.
Yes.
And that is how I have been able to grow my business. And there's so many network marketers on social media and influencers, and I see so many people, posting, and I feel like the best way to really grow your business is to be just you, be authentically you, and share vulnerably. And so the way that I work my business on social media is just that. I just show up and I'm myself, and I share the struggles that I've had. And so as I'm marketing this, I am absolutely, going to be very, very real. And because that's how we can help people. That's how we can connect with people. And anyone that is, viewing my stories or liking my posts or commenting, I'm going to be reaching out just like I did with Somaderm and just starting conversations with people, getting them on the phone and having real life conversations and just being very open and vulnerable about my story so that I can impact their life and they can open up to me about theirs and we can help them here. So,
I love it.
yeah.
Actually, I'm going to give you knuckles on that. That's good. You talk about being authentic. It's so important, right? And you guys are great examples of that. You guys are all very genuine, very authentic. And
Sometimes too much.
Yeah, sometimes too much. Yeah, a little bit's okay.
Yeah.
But when you start thinking about that, you recognize, and I've said this 100 times, but people really do. They know if you're not being genuine. They do. They can tell. It's something that it's just innate in people. And so your ability to share vulnerably and authentically makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. And relative to that experience, particularly socially, because you probably don't know half the people that you're interacting with potentially.
Right. Yeah.
So important. But thank you. That was perfect.
Yeah. Thank
Excellent.
you so
Excellent.
much.
Theresa, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So full disclosure, we've been, as a company, as we start working on all the stuff that we're going to do relative to selling product and how we're going to language this and so forth. We're always talking about different things. And these guys obviously were a part of all that conversation because we recognized what they were doing and how they were doing it. And so we have had this tagline that we're talking about, and we're going to share it. Like, you're going to hear this 100 times, right? Fuel the burn, right? We're loving this conversation, right? So I'm sharing this with Theresa, and she's like, wait a minute. Like, I've been saying this for like 10 years with my own personal training.
coach,
Wait a minute. So, Theresa, when we talk about the idea of fueling the burn, and we talk about, that being obviously a part of who you are.
Yeah.
And we're talking about this metabolism and how your body regulates that. How would you share that with someone? How would you sell that idea to somebody else?
Yeah, so I think for me, from like a coaching health and wellness expert or in the industry, right? It's all about, I try to get people to focus on abundance. So I want people to want to fuel up on good stuff. So what does that consist of? It consists of good nutrition, good movement, good mindset, good supplements that are actually going to help me at my root core so I can be successful in creating a lifestyle versus these yo-yo things that we're doing. I want people to feel like they're successful than constantly on that wheel and having that failure mentality where that's going to keep roadblocking you to continue to do what you're doing.
I love that. And so that the way you do fuel your body is so critical, right? And one of the things we've talked about too, and I know we've shared this as a group, is that when you're talking about MLT, right, and we've talked about metabolic lipotropic thermogenic, that really is the key to transformation, right? And you'll hear more about this coming. Yeah, you'll hear about how MLT does that and how that's really the secret when it comes to hormone health. And of course, we all talk about that. We're the hormone health company, right? That's who we are. So I love the fact that you talked about that. And so explaining the process to them could make all the difference in the world, particularly coaching, training, and all that.
And I think too, going back to what Jocelyn said too, it's about sharing your story and connecting with people. I think more than ever, we have to listen to people's needs and what their, I don't want to say complaints, but what their hardships are, and then being able to provide a solution to help them live their best life. I was sitting in the background earlier and we're just talking about upcoming things and stuff. And I'm like, wow, new you life. If you break that down, you're creating a new you life for yourself. And that's what all of these things are really providing for us. So it's really truly listening to people's hardships and what their obstacles are. And then we have a plethora of supplements that can help people have that, like I said, that successful mindset of like, okay, I'm getting that momentum going. What more can I do versus feeling stuck in that failure and not wanting to do much more. So I think as distributors, listening to people and being able to provide that solution from like a heartfelt place versus sell.
Gosh.
But I want to talk about sell.
Okay, you do that.
I was like, that's what I do. But I love that so much. We talk about that all the time. We talk about it's not always selling; it's sharing, right? It's you're sharing who you are. And I, full disclosure, spending the last bit of time with you guys, I have loved hearing your stories. Right? It is so cool to hear about what happens. And I know Alexi, this is his favorite part of the company, right? He literally loves hearing the stories and things that happen. And that makes you uniquely you and makes you genuine. And so I love the fact that you brought that up. And so having a product experience, having it with yourself, and being able to share it makes all the difference in the world. But beautifully said. Well done. Good job, Theresa. Paul, I got a question for you too, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So one of my favorite things about Paul is
he only has one. He only has one.
I've narrowed it down to one. No, what I love about Paul is Paul didn't come from this industry. Paul's experience with us, he came from traditional business and sort of high finance, all these different things. And so in my conversations with him, and I've taken lots of feedback from Paul. He's been a great counterpart in terms of what we've done. But one of the things I love about what he does is he has this really unique perspective, and it's not always the same, right? You come at it from a very different direction. So things like selling, things like understanding the statistics and kind of what surrounds the market makes all the difference in the world. And you and I were talking a minute ago. And so I want you with these guys, because I know how you're going to sell it, and you'll sell the heck out of it. But I want you to share with them a few of the statistics you and I were talking about relative to the market, relative to what's happening, and how they can use that.
Well, first of all, I mean, I think the product, obviously, at least for me too, I mean, these girls were still in great shape, but they're just got in tremendous better shape. But for me, it's been literally life-changing, like 40 pounds. So one of the things about our products is that they're very efficacious. They work. The gel stories, the Soma Plus stories now that they're coming out with the pain, the Soma Night stories that people are getting results like in the first bottle, right? Yeah. So we have a really good product line here, so you don't have to struggle so much in building it. But how about this? With Tri-MLT, and I think some of you missed the boat with the original MLT, is that it's going to be by 2030 a $400 billion business, just weight loss alone. So Alexi's given us a whole nother business inside of our New You Life business. So this is not like joining some other company and maybe this will work for me. You have a business within a business. I feel Rose and Cole is a business within a business. There are people who just focus on skincare. Well, you could do that here, but now you could focus on weight loss. For a potentially $420 billion business, I think by 2030. So the growth potential is great. 65% plus of people in the United States are considered obese. All right, I was just in a theme park, 65%. It may be a little bit more, maybe closer to 67%. I think 47% of the people in the United States, or at least close to 50% of the people in the United States, want to do something about their weight. So the market is huge, huge. And I will tell you that think about this product as a way to attract people into your New You Life business. Maybe people need time to understand Somaderm. Maybe they need time to understand Soma Night. Maybe they need to not sure where Soma Plus, maybe you don't even realize where Soma Plus fits in your business. But to bring someone in with such a popular business model, meaning weight management, weight loss, weight control, appetite suppression, right? These are big buzzwords that will pull a lot of people into your business. And once they like you, know you, and trust you because you gave them a product that works, they'll take a look at everything else we have to be able to expand your business greater. So I think this product, Tri-MLT alone, is probably going to be a huge draw, especially those of you who are struggling in your New You Life business. You know, maybe you haven't really got your stride yet, and it could take some network marketers up to 7 years before they find that stride. But every year we come up with something new. But this one is a big one. And I don't know, when is this going to air? Do we know when this is airing?
It's airing right after the 11th.
So right after the 11th
After the launch. So the launch has happened, the following week will be
Okay,
this.
so we're going to put you right in the middle of the Super Bowl of network marketing. First quarter, right? What are the top 2 New Year's resolutions that people have? I want to either make more money and be more successful, or I want to get in better shape and better health. So you're right. We're timing this perfectly for you to build your business. So I can go on, but I'm just going to tell you that this is a huge, huge piece of business for our New You Life distributors all over the world, by the way.
I love that, and you hit the nail on the head, right? We don't recognize the size or the scope sometimes of what we really have.
Correct.
We don't think about it, and we've had this conversation a lot relative to our product because Alexi he creates product that's category creating. It's so unique. It's so different, and I tell everybody this. I wear the fact that he builds products like he does like a warm blanket. We're the only ones that do it, you know? And we get to say that worldwide. We get to say that these products, these formulations, the way he builds these, we're the only, I mean, as far as we know, we're the only ones that do this like this, right? So we just have to keep all that in mind. And like you said, and I'm going to steal that, by the way. It's the Super Bowl of network. I'm hanging on to that. That was mine now.
So wait a minute, you stole her tagline. Now you're stealing mine. So Jocelyn, be careful.
Whatever Jocelyn's got, I'll steal that too. That's how I do this. No, I'm just kidding. But that's the cool part, right? That's the amazing part. So we want to hang on to all that. I want to circle back to something that you guys were talking about a minute ago. And Joss, maybe we can start with you. You know, but we've talked so much about, I don't know, connecting with people, right? Yeah. There's this idea that no matter what we have and no matter how it's created and how it's built, we're always looking for ways we can connect and do that in a better way. Yeah. And you know, you talked about being genuine. You talked about being authentic. if you were going to coach, and I'll ask all of you this question so you guys can get ready. How would you teach that to your team? You guys all have teams. You all have people you work with. You all have people that are part of your group.
Yeah.
And so part of preparing for a launch is empowering the team, right? It's like, how do I empower these guys with what they need, right? So if you were going to encourage them about how to make that, what are just some quick pointers that you think you would share with them about how to do
Yeah, so when someone has, partnered with me,
Yeah.
I want them to kind of remember, why did you, what drew you to me? Be that, and also be who you would want to attract to, and focus on your personal development. I mean, it's hard to be vulnerable. It is. And yeah, it's difficult, but really that is the only way for like human connection, is if you are vulnerable. And so the foundation to be able to get to that point would be, work on yourself, personal development, and then also just remembering what drew you to me, and try to be that. Yeah.
I love that. So
I didn't know you were going to ask me that question.
no.
so-
That's my favorite part about a live. I never tell them what I'm going to ask them ahead of time. I let them figure it out on the fly, which is what you guys do better. But that's the cool part about it, right? And frankly, that is genuinely and authentically you.
Sure.
And
That's
then
what you do.
come talk to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah,
because
come
like
talk to me.
during those times when you are putting yourself out there, it's
Yeah.
like it's hard, it's difficult, and so I want to be that mentor, that friend on my team that I am for whoever's out there, and even on other teams. So,
I love
yeah.
it. Beautifully said, Josh.
Thank you.
Well said. Well
Thank you.
said. See, you didn't even have to prepare for that. Good job. Paul, you're going to train you're training people all over the world,
Yeah.
right? And wherever this product will be sold, what would you do? How would you teach these guys what you know, and how would you train them to go out and sell Triumph?
So first of all, I think that some people could get to overthink and they want to know all the ingredients and everything else when it's having a conversation with people, right? Just having a conversation. Identify who your target market is. If you don't know who your target market is, then how are you going to communicate with them? So teaching our people to understand the market, where this product fits in the marketplace, and what the major differentiators are. So what makes this different than everything else on the market? Because that's what's going to draw them in, right? Not how are we the same, but how is this different? What's beautiful about what Alexi does is that he creates those differentiators, right? So that's where we focus. So don't worry about all the different ingredients and the citrulline and all the other things that are in there, right? Chromium picolinate, and Ellie was teaching me so much, my head's spinning. And I said, well, wait a second. Why is this product so much more effective? Why did I lose 40 pounds in a short period of time since Macau? How did that happen? And that's what you focus on, right? So give people what makes this product different and better. Focus there, number one. Number two, start communicating more. When I interview someone about having challenges in the business, whether on my team, whether in Asia, whether in England, it doesn't matter. The same holds true every single time. I could diagnose them in 30 seconds. How many conversations have you had with someone today? Oh, my dog was sick, my kids were, okay, great. How about yesterday? And you'll always be able to identify the two things that you're not doing. One is connecting with more people on a daily basis. And then two is having authentic conversations with people. You need to fill your pipeline with those conversations. Those are the big things I will tell you to make a difference. And leave everything else to Alexi.
God, I love that. Connections, like you said, building those connections and having those conversations are so critical. I was thinking back about this. You talk about me stealing taglines, right? In the words of our immortal VP of Marketing, I've had lots of conversations with Mr. Sean Spainhour. We always talk about, don't sell the recipe, sell the cookie.
Yes.
We always
right.
talk about, you have your story. You have these things that you do day in, day out that make you, uniquely who you are. And frankly, that's what people are interested in hearing anyway.
Right.
It's like you talk about these relationships that you build all the time, right? They want to know what happened to you, right? Because in the end, they always want to know what's in it for them, right?
Of
So
course.
once they hear your story, once they hear what happens, and you're having those connections and conversations, it changes everything, right? And that's probably the most important thing you can do is decide how you can have this conversation and how you can share what your story is. But beautifully said, Paul. Theresa, how would you train them?
I think too, what's funny is with my business, with coaching nutrition and fitness, along with growing a business, it's going back to the basics and keeping it simple, right? Try MLT is very simplified. It's providing a simplified supplement, and I think we have to. And eating well, if you think about it, is very simple. People just overcomplicate it. Yeah. Business is the same way. If your business isn't growing, it's because you're overcomplicating the process. So going back to simple, basic tools and keeping the conversation simple. People don't want to be bombarded with scientific ingredients and videos and the spam, like we like to call it, right? It's listening. Right. It's providing a simple explanation and solution. And because what happens is people, if you're doing the constant too much, then they get the feel that that's what they have to do, right? So it's keeping it simple so they can understand how simple it is to be a part of this and use the products.
Gosh, I love that. That simplicity is so key, and it's so important. And I think sometimes we think that we need to explain all this for someone to feel comfortable sharing, or comfortable really getting involved. Not necessarily the case, right? We have these opportunities to really be simple, straightforward. That's why we create the things we talk about when we talk about, little things you can say and, the specifics of what you say. I always challenge you guys all the time. I'll say, what do you say exactly, right? Because I know sometimes we have a tendency to overcome, make it too long, right? Shorten it down, make it exactly what it is so someone can simply say that. Paul, I saw
Stony, a confused mind does nothing. Right? And done is better than perfect. And what could be more simpler than you rip the top off this thing, suck it down, it tastes a little bit grapefruity, and there you go. That's it. That's this product in a nutshell. Yeah. Everything else is nuance. Right? You'll get better. You'll have your own stories. You'll have your own version of sharing it. But let's see if I don't toss it because I'm afraid. Go ahead. I'll see if I catch it. But let's talk about it. I'm so glad I caught that on camera. But look, it's really, really this simple. I just literally do this, right? Yeah. And now, of course, it's going to do this on camera.
It's never done that before.
Yeah,
it's never, ever done that before. But
we'll cut that part out. We'll just show that.
No, leave it because it's real life. I'm just really nervous about getting this all over myself in front of it. But, guys.
Perfect. Look at that.
I just took MLT. Maybe a little bit too aggressively, but I really want to get every drop in. And it's very citrusy. It's kind of grapefruity. Yeah. But within 15, 20 minutes, I already know how I'm going to feel.
So we've been talking a lot about how you share and what you do, and we also talk a lot about being as specific as we can be, right? We're always like, because it is really important to people to understand that literally, we call it getting into the weeds, right? We always talk about, it's okay to be out here, let's get way down the weeds. So we want to talk about kind of those things. So Joss, let me start with you because I know you were talking about building socially. Specifically, like as specific as you can be.
Okay.
When you're sharing socially, like just tell us a bit about the process. Is it a particular graphic? Is it a particular way you do it?
So a recommendation that I would have is like the best time to share on social media is when you are inspired or you're passionate in that moment. Okay. So if you are try MLT and you are, able to get on your social media and talk about it, that would be wonderful. Like during that time, like the first couple of days, like when you're excited, when you're feeling those effects, and just authentically sharing as it's unfolding, sharing your story. That is so good.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
So would you be like, I posted a graphic, it says whatever. Right, whatever you
I would get on there. And
would you like literally like DM me, or would you be like, I'm just gonna wait and see what kind of response I get?
Well,
how would you walk through that process?
So passion sells. Okay, so I
Yes.
feel like that is like it's like a being just excited and passionate and putting that out there. It's very attractive to people, and I have a lot of people that actually reach out to me because I share when I'm feeling those like high vibes in a way, and a lot of people will just come to me now at this point. So I just really
cool.
encourage
So-
people to share in those moments where you are feeling the effects and you're excited because that excitement is going to sell.
I really love that, right? So you're posting these things, you're putting it out there, and you're letting that response come back to you.
Yeah.
Because people are attracted to that, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, and
Again,
it's not desperate,
genuine
you know?
No.
It's coming from that excitement and abundance place versus, you know, that lack. And I share when I am excited and passionate. That's when I do. And when I'm not, that's when I need to be focusing on God and my personal development.
all that stuff,
and,
right?
you know,
Building up that sort of passion. I
So,
love that.
yeah, and doing the things that I love, hanging out with my kids, you know, so I can get re-inspired.
I love that. Very good advice. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Teresa, like specifically, like if I said, man, this is what Teresa does to share, what would you do? What would
I
you
try
say?
to just relate to people's like lifestyles.
Yeah.
So I try to just show a video of me actually using the product and then like working out. So for me with like the MLT, there'll be a video of me putting it in my shaker bottle.
Yeah.
And I always make sure to caption like, I used to feel like this and now I feel like this, because you're capturing people's, again, you're sharing how it's changed for you, but you're also piquing somebody's like, I feel like that right now. And I'm looking at her feeling and looking and doing amazing. What is she doing? Right?
I love that.
So I think it's just having that honest appeal of using the product within my lifestyle, and doing that like felt.
Found.
You know, it's, and you said that so well, and you guys both, I think all three of you talked about that, but it's the idea that you're using that product and you really are an example of what it can create for someone else, right? They can see that, they can feel that. It's a part of the power that you possess by virtue of taking it. Well said, beautifully said. So as you're coaching, when you're training, people are looking at Teresa going, I want to do exactly what she's doing. Right.
Someone's like, why do you have so much energy? I'm like,
I love it.
MLT.
I got a really good one for that, but I'm not going to.
Hang on to that, Paul. Hang on to that. Mr. Paul, give me your
Stories.
Stories.
Facebook stories. If I have a Facebook story out there, there's like 1,000 people versus maybe 100 people or 200 people looking at a Facebook post, right? And then talk to, like, for me, not for me, because I don't look like these women, right? So for me, it really going to be informational. You know, I like stats, right? Well, if 60 some odd % of the country is overweight, and this product is specific, maybe even just showing the effectiveness of the product without even showing MLT, but showing what this does, right, is enough to generate, well, what is it, you know, when you try it? One of the things I put is that I'm really, really excited about this product, and I'll get DMs. I have probably 16 DMs to answer of people in competing companies because the product works. The product it's very efficacious, right? And we all use products. Look, I use products from other companies, right? Nothing has had the wow factor that our products have, but still, you need toothpaste, right? You need, a toothbrush. You need these essentials, right? But then there's those products that really, really make a difference, like the stuff that you can't live without. Right, like women with makeup, right? Regardless of what your finances are like, you're getting that makeup, right? You're not going out the door without that makeup. Well, I'm not going out without MLT. I'm not going to use the gel. And unfortunately, at 60 years old, Soma Plus has been invaluable to me for a lot of different reasons. So that's it. Stories, though, guys.
Yeah.
So many more people are looking at your stories. So many people that are not even commenting you are seeing that story, and it's really powerful.
And you have to be consistent with it. That's like the biggest game changer.
Absolutely.
With anything.
With anything. So especially for me in health and wellness, the reason why I've been able to build a sustainable business is because I have stayed true to lifestyle versus here's this thing, here's that thing, here's this thing, here's that thing. I've been gone for a week, now I'm back for 3 days, now I'm gone for 2 months, now I'm back for 3 days. People won't trust you, right? People want to see the consistency of you showing up, you talking about what you're doing, how it's working. So being consistent with how you're posting, how you're showing up, and how much you're posting. It makes a
That's
huge
a
difference.
really, really good point because people are watching you, especially when you're building your New You Life business. People are watching you. There are people who had joined me just a couple of weeks ago who's been watching me for about 4 years, waiting to see if I was going to jump, waiting to see if I was not consistent because they're looking to build their business around you, about your consistency. Are they going to have support from you? So remember, people are watching you and they're looking for your consistency, not only in the way you handle yourself personally, personally, but the way you run your New You Life business. Because that's what people are looking for. They're looking for stability, especially if they don't have it in their life yet. You talk about personal development a lot,
I do, yeah.
right? So you do a lot of personal work. There are so many people out there that need that work. So they need a solid foundation of a business partner and a company that's going somewhere so they can grow into us. And the best and most loyal distributors we have are those who grow into the New You Life family.
I love it. That's exactly what you have to do. That consistency is so important because if we're not consistent, like I said, people are watching all the time.
All the time.
It's kind of it's that old adage of duplication, right? People are doing what you're doing whether you know it or not.
Right.
You know, and so you have to stay focused on the things that are making. So I have a lightning round. Okay, this is the lightning round of our panel.
He's looking at his watch,
I'm
guys.
looking at my watch. I'm clocking you. It's a lightning round of what we're going to do. It's a real quick answer. I'm going to ask each of you, why New You Life? Okay? Just in your own best minute, 2 minutes, whatever. I mean, you can take as long as you want, but however long you think, why New You Life is different and why New You Life. Joss, you've been going for. You want these guys to go first this time? Or you
No,
want
I
All
can
right,
go.
you got
Yeah,
this. Okay,
it's.
you're
I'm
good.
like gonna try not to cry, you guys, because this has been everything that I needed and longed for my whole life, really. Because I don't have a family. I have my children, but I don't have parents that are actively involved in my life, really, and grandparents and, extended family. And so, I could talk for hours about this, you guys, but the community part of it, feeling like I have a place to belong. And that is so huge for so many people out there that are like me, that do feel that loneliness. And that's been a big part of it for me, for sure. And then the fact that, these products, there's no competition. I've tried a lot of products out there, and this stuff is just unreal. I can't live without it. That's why I'm like, please don't sell out of this stuff. But yeah, and then the, financial opportunity has been so special to me. I'm so grateful for it. I get to be a full-time mom at home. I get to pick my daughter up from school every day, take her to school, take her to gymnastics, take my son to hockey, take him to jiu-jitsu in the mornings, Tuesday and Thursday. I am there with my kids, and because they are my family, they're all I really have, them and God. It's like I am so grateful to be able to spend time with them and be that present mom, and then also be like a boss mom. So, yeah.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
We're glad you're a part of our family. It's been awesome.
Thank
Well
you.
said. Beautifully said. Theresa, why New You Life?
I preach and coach and teach taking your power back, and New You Life has been able to provide that for me.
Wow.
I've been able to take my power back with personal growth and with entrepreneurship. My background is I've been a nurse for 16 years. And when I started back in March 2022, I never even imagined me as an entrepreneur. My coaching business was a side business, even though it was crazy hours, on top of me as a nurse full time. And New Life and the team and the network gave me that confidence in those tools to take my power in taking a chance on myself, and to be able to pull out of nursing full time and go all in on me has been nothing short but amazing. So New You Life has been able to provide that power of me feeling my best self with the best supplements, me feeling my best self with the best people, and to be able to truly step into living my best life.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Beautiful. It's exactly what New Life is for.
Yeah.
So good job. Paul, you got a tough act to follow. I'm just going to let you go.
I do, but to be honest with you, I'll open with these women and the story we hear over and over and over again, that we talk about life-changing experience, and so many people have these life-changing, well, you're seeing it right here, no BS, that how this company and this vision has changed their lives. So that's number one. And fortunately for me, and I thank God every single day that I get to see that with tens of thousands of people, literally all over the world. You know, Sean and I, we were talking, we've all been in Asia, we've been all over the world with this company, and we see these stories over and over. It doesn't matter the language that it's in, but people's lives are truly being changed. Not by the I mean, yes, I had an amazing physical transformation, but my emotional transformation has been overwhelming to me. That's number one. Number two, we talk about my story, about my past, and working for this big company in New York City, and we took that company to $1.5 billion a year, publicly traded on the NASDAQ. But the key behind that was this guy, Robert. And I followed Robert, and I said, no matter where he goes, I'm going. And Robert passed away from COVID only a few years ago. But there's only one man in my life who's ever reminded me or has the same attitude or passion that Robert did, and that's Alexi. And I will tell you that he's not your typical CEO. He's not your network marketing guy. And a lot of people held that against us in the beginning, but I hung in there. The people say, Paul, you don't want to be the last man standing, but it's the greatest thing I ever did to stick by this guy because he's been there for us. So I'm going to tell you why New You Life is you, Alexi. And you know I love you, brother.
You guys are killing me. This is horrible.
I know. I'm trying to fight back the tears right now.
I think you guys all beautifully answered the question. As we stand here on the eve of the Try MLT launch, and we talk about the difference it can make, and we talk about what we know it can do for people and how it can change their lives and so forth. It's always important, I think, to remember. You talked about this earlier on. Why we do what we do, and frankly, why the way we do it is so unique. And so I always ask the question, why New You Life? Because I think sometimes people have a hard time differentiating our product, and differentiating us from everything that exists out there in the industry. So all that you guys described about New You Life, our family, our culture, our product, is really what legitimately makes us who we are. And at the heartbeat of that, Paul, is Alexi. That's all it is, right? So as you are working on this and as you're thinking about Try MLT and all the great tips we've gotten from these guys, we hope that you remember those things, that you remember why this is so special, why it's so different. Try MLT is unlike anything out in the marketplace. New Life is unlike anything in the marketplace. Aligning yourself with this, aligning yourself with us, aligning yourself with this company, can create the kind of transformation that we always talk about. And these guys have been fantastic. To you guys, thank you so much.
Thank you so
You guys
much. I love
were
you
so
guys.
good. We love you too. And we're so excited. We'll just go out and launch this product and make it happen, right?
Good luck, guys. Crush
That's right.
this one.
Guys, we got to do one more thing, though. I want to give them the dating game send-off, right? Which is the kiss. So we're going to do this on
big
the
kiss,
You guys
right?
ready?
Okay.
You know how to do
we're
this?
good.
Right-handed?
Yeah, ready? No, I'm going to know it's face.
All right.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
So long, guys.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the New You Life Pulse podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, for more information, please visit our website, newyoulife.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the New You Life Pulse podcast.